Hello everybody and welcome to the first episode of Minecraft Science. This is my new show where we get to learn about various things in Minecraft, and this is basically a continuation of myth busting. I just wanted to get away from the term myth because there's lots of interesting things in Minecraft that we could learn about that aren't necessarily myths. So in this, the first episode, we're going to be taking a look at one of the new blocks that is in the 1.5 update, and that is the Nether Quartz ore. That's this block right here. It's the first ore to be found in the Nether, and you can see that I've taken some chunks out of the Nether to analyse it and find out where it spawns, because I want to find out where the best place to mine for this stuff is. But first of all, we should learn a little bit more about this block. Its ID is 153, and it drops the Nether Quartz, which is this item right here. Now this item can be used to make a comparator, a daylight sensor, and also each of these quartz blocks as well, which include a half slab and some stairs. So the quartz ore drops an item, meaning it's quite likely it will be affected by the fortune enchantment. So I've done some testing. I've mined 100 blocks of each type of pick that we have here. We have one without fortune, you can see there, and then we have one with fortune 1, fortune 2 and fortune 3. And so without fortune you'll get one nether quartz for each ore block mined. With fortune 1 you get an average of 1.3, an average of 1.8, and then with fortune 3 you'll get an average of 2.2, which is obviously the best one to use. So you can also get XP from these blocks as well. You get an average of 2 to 5, and this is the same as lapis lazuli in the overworld. Now that means you'd have to mine 240 blocks on average to get to level 30. So if you plan on going in the nether for a long time and collecting a large amount of nether quartz, then maybe it's a good idea to bring an enchanting table as well, and you can make a couple of enchantments while you're there. Now you can also get XP from smelting, and in 1.5 if you smelt netherrack you'll get nether brick, which can be used to make nether bricks. So you get an average of 0.1 for each block that you smelt. So if you smelt 10 you'll get 1 XP, and the same thing can be done with the nether quartz ore. You'll also get just 1 nether quartz from it, which is the same as just using a regular pick, but you'll get an average of 0.2 XP. So for every 5 you'll get 1 XP, and you can see that's not better than mining it with your pick. But if you can smelt the nether quartz ore, then that obviously means that you can pick it up with a silk touch pick. So when you go into nether, if you don't want to risk losing your fortune 3 enchantment, you can also use a silk touch one. With all of that out of the way, let's move on to what we really want to know. Where is the best place in the nether to find the nether quartz ore? Well, I've taken 8 chunks and some larger areas as well, you can see on either side, to analyse using MCEdit and find out how many of each different block type are in each of these chunks. Now one of my first thoughts that maybe it distributes the ore based on the chunk that it's in. So if you have a chunk like this that has a lot of air in it, then you would get more quartz in the netherrack at either end. But that is not the case, I can tell you that now. But that's partly why I wanted to do this and why I kept track of the air numbers in our first test. So these are the first 8 chunks right here. I'm not going to go through them one by one, but I've noted down the amount of air, the amount of netherrack and ore, and then at the bottom here we have this number, which is the ore divided by the netherrack. So that means for every one netherrack we have 0.010 ore in that particular chunk. You can see there's quite a lot of variation here. This one's a fair bit lower, but in general it doesn't fluctuate that much. And you can see here as well, even the one with 0 air, there's not an abundant amount of extra ore there as well. So then I've done the same test in a larger region. These ones are 9 chunks each, and you can see that again, pretty consistent numbers. The air isn't really influencing the amount of ore that there is, and this is pretty average. So that was 26 chunks that we analysed there, and between them the average amount of ore, or at least the ratio for one netherrack, was 0.00665. So I thought that was pretty useful information right there, and that we should do it on a larger scale. So I analysed 1024 chunks, and the number was very, very similar. You can see here it's slightly lower, it's 0.00615. So from this point what I decided to do was analyse groups of layers, about 8 at a time, and it seemed like it was pretty consistent. There was no particular part of the nether where the ores appeared in a higher abundance, and so then I started to think about where was the best place to have a consistent amount of netherrack, because if you haven't heard the idea of strip mining already, that's probably the best way to get the nether quartz ore, because it appears everywhere. Now the nether has a lot of surface area because it has these big open areas, so you can see all of that ceiling up there, and because of that it makes it look like the ores are best found when you just go around exploring and then finding surfaces to pick them out of, when actually they're everywhere in the Nether, so going strip mining is a very good idea. So I was first drawn to the bottom area down here underneath the lava lakes. Now I had a suspicion that the lava lakes would only form at a certain height and higher, and I can confirm that to be true. I'll talk more about that in a bit. And so I thought all of this area down here would be a great place to go strip mining for the Nether Quartz ore. And I was talking to Sci Guy Ryan about it, and he suggested the top. He thinks the top place would be a really good idea as well. And you can see up here we have a load of nether as well. So those were the two places that I decided I would analyse to find out what were the best levels to mine the Nether Quartz at. Now I personally like going down below better, because when you're in the Nether you're always going to have a fire resist potion on you, or be well equipped for the Nether, and so if you do run into a lava pocket or a lava lake, you can take a potion and then get yourself out of there. Although you shouldn't encounter any lava lakes like this lower than level 21, I do believe. But you can encounter regular little lava pockets and things like that. I just want to cut in and make it very clear that I've analysed a large part of the Nether, and I cannot find any lava lakes that go lower than level 21. So anywhere below there, any lava that you find will be the regular lava pockets that you can find anywhere in the Nether, along with the lava pockets that spawn next to the Nether Quartz. So 21 and above is where the lava lakes spawn. And then up the top, I didn't like the idea of this as much, because you could fall down a long distance if you were unlucky and mining too close to where the Nether ceiling is. And if you fall that way down with Feather Falling 4, you are going to take some damage, but you shouldn't die. But I like the idea of going down the bottom better. So anyway, let's have a look at the numbers that I've analysed for the bottom and top. This is where it gets really interesting. So starting at level 8, we have 0.001. This is where the Nether ore first appears. It doesn't appear at layer 7, and then you can see going down here that it increases its abundance until we get to these levels here, 12, 13 and 14. Now these were the highest that I saw. You do see it at 19 as well, and 20, but 21 is where the lava lakes first start to appear. So if you were to go mining at 19 and 20, it would be a lot more risky. If you were to mine upwards, there's a chance that a lava lake could be directly above you. So that's why I like these ones, and I analysed them over a 2048 chunk distance, and this was the average number over that chunk. So all of these ones, by the way, are 1024. That's the amount of chunks that I analysed each level in. And then I've done the same thing at the ceiling as well. And so this is where 112, this is where the Nether ceiling seems to stop. Around layers 11 and 10 it seems like there are huge gaps where the ceiling and the air are, so it's probably not safe to go there. But at these layers you can see 12, 13 and 14 have even higher rates than the 12, 13 and 14 down at the bottom. So on average over 2048 chunks they have 0.00894, so you definitely get more if you look at the numbers when you go up high, but you have the risk of being very close to the ceiling limit. And then above that the Nether ore stops spawning at layer 118. So my conclusion is it'd be a good idea to set up a little base like this in the Nether, have an enchanting table, an anvil, some furnaces so that you can smelt nether brick, and then just go strip mining with a silk touch pickaxe, and you can bring it back here and mine it with a fortune 1 when you're safe, and of course keep some fire resist potions on you as well. So that is it for the first episode of Minecraft Science. If there's a topic that you'd like to suggest for a future episode, just leave your suggestion in the comment box down below. And if you want to like this video, it is really appreciated. And on the screen right now there's a couple more videos you can click on if you want to watch more of my content, including a link to Myth Busting, which is the series that came before this. So as always, thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time.